A folding camp stove that fits in your bug out bag, at home bag, your camping, and also your hiking bag to allow you to make a cup of coffee, a cup of tea, or perhaps even a cup of soup is always nice to have. Welcome back to Survival Existence. A nice camp stove to have is a folding stove. It's relatively light and easy to carry in your camping equipment and your bag. The Esbit folding stove, perhaps the best well known of all the camping stove, can be had for a relatively cheap $10 to $12 in most places. But this particular folding camp stove is just like the Esbit, and it is also considerably cheaper. It can be had for just under $5. As always, when you buy these stoves, always buy additional fuel. Some fuel comes with it. In this case, there are 8 fuel cubes that come with it. They're about 14 gram size, and that's perhaps larger than what you'll need to simply warm up water to make a cup of tea, or warm up your soup, or to make a cup of coffee. But nonetheless, if you need to cook something, the 14 gram cubes are nice to have. If you don't have any of the smaller 4 gram cubes, you can also break these in half to use them and make each one last twice as long. But if you're going to cook on this particular stove, it would perhaps be better to use the full size 14 gram cube. What most people don't realize about these stoves is they actually have a high temperature and a low temperature setting. The low temperature, as this picture depicts, is made to be opened all the way up. If you're going to use the higher temperature setting, there is a smaller notch level where this is left in at about a 45-degree angle on each side. That brings the pot down closer to the cube, and it heats a little bit faster. The hexamine tablets that come with this stove supposedly burn about 18 minutes according to the instructions, but we'll find out in time how long it actually takes to start 1 cup of water boiling, and also how long the cube will last itself. The Esbit type folding stoves are relatively easy to operate, and certainly doesn't take a college degree to do so. They're widely known for their simplicity of design. You just simply fold the stove out, which it can be difficult at times bringing it open, as it should be, so that you can put something on it that's not too terribly heavy so that it will not collapse. With the stove in this position, all the way open, that is the low temperature setting on these stoves. If you turn it back in, there's a stop that it'll fit in right there, bringing your pan or cup closer to the tablet and allowing the stove to operate at a higher temperature. If you need to, you can open it like this for a larger pan, but this cup of water is simply not wide enough to fit on something like this, so I'll use the inside part to start this cup of water boiling, so that it'll easily fit either way. These hexamine tablets come in a square just like this, and like I said before, if you don't need the whole tablet, there's no need in wasting them. You can break them in half if all you need to warm up is just enough water for some coffee or a cup of soup or a cup of tea. The simplicity of these stoves is very apparent when you go to use one. You just simply open the stove, whether you need it at a low temperature or a high temperature, and I'm going to leave it at the high temperature setting. And you simply score the plastic cover and pop these open and remove one of the tubes. Whenever you're ready to light this hexamine cube inside your stove, normally it's best to open it all the way up so you can get to it with your lighter or a match or whatever you use. But you just simply light it on the edges. These stoves get rather hot whenever you're using them, so that once you light it, you want to set it on a surface that heat will not affect. But once you get that cube going, let it catch all the way up, and then set your cup of water on it. While it's warming and setting up, I'm going to set this stove to a high temperature level. Now that this cube has caught all the way across, I'm going to start timing. I'm also going to place 1 cup of water on top of the stove. I'm going to scoop my watch away from the heat so that it's not affected. Also, with these stoves, wind can become a factor. It's not just terribly windy today, but it is windy enough that it can affect the flame coming up. And all you need for a windscreen for these is just simply a piece of aluminum foil. Does quite well. The wind's coming from the south today, so I'm going to put this windscreen on the south side of this heater to cut down on some of the wind transfer and focus as much heat as possible onto the surface of this canteen cup in order to get the water boiling. Once these cubes have started, you can put them out, but they're very difficult. All you have to do is blow on them, but you have to blow rather hard. As you can clearly see, the Isbit tablet is burning very hot. But of course, that's what that tablet is designed to do, is to burn hot, to bring your food to a hot temperature enough to cook it, or in this case, to warm 1 cup of water. Okay, it's right at 4 minutes. And as you can see, the water is beginning to come to a slow boil. Now, at approximately 5 minutes 40 seconds, the water is becoming to be at a rolling boil. This is where you need your water to be boiling, or it's the point you need to have your water boiling in order to purify your water if you're drinking water from a questionable source. And let it boil for the minimum of 1 minute at a rolling boil. The alcohol stoves I have shown you how to make in previous videos and how to use work pretty well, but they don't work as well as this type of Isbit folding stove. If you're using this type of stove for purifying water, most of the time you would be best off to simply use a half of a tablet, or get some of the smaller 4-gram tablets to use just simply to purify water or make tea or a cup of soup or coffee. On the other hand, if you're actually going to cook over this stove because you've harvested wild game, or you actually brought some food with you that needs to be cooked, then you would be best off using the larger 14-gram or so hexamine tablet. At this point, the hexamine tablet has all but become relatively useless. I'm going to set this cup to the side, and as you can see, as I zoom in, this hexamine tablet is pretty much useless at this point. It's still burning some, but its useful life is pretty much over. So even though the instructions claim that the tablet will last much longer, it in fact does not. Its useful life is over at about 9 minutes, even for the larger tablet. The folding type camping stove, another lightweight stove that'd be good to carry in your various bags and with your camping and hiking equipment. This has been Bobby with Survival Existence, helping you help yourself. Please subscribe to us on our YouTube channel at Survival Existence. Come visit us at our website at survivalexistence.com, and visit us on Facebook at Survival Existence. Have a good day.